I'm going to call this meeting of the Board of Directors to order. It's April 18th and
16th.
16th, and it's 3:45. Brian, could you give us the invocation?
Absolutely. Dear Heavenly Father, we just are grateful for a day that we can enjoy sunshine here in West Michigan, that we get to come out to our happy place and just be encouraged with one another. We just pray for today's agenda. We just ask for your blessing, your hand to be upon the decisions that we need to make. Give us wisdom, give us clarity, and give us unity and give us strength. And we just ask as we open up the season this week, we thank you for the water being on. We thank you that we get to enjoy this. And we just pray for your hand to be upon staff, on Jeff, and just give us patience, give us grace, and just help us to be an encouragement to each other as we get to celebrate our 50th year. We just again pray for this time together. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kimberly, would you like to do the roll call, please?
Sure. Ellen Carpenter.
Here.
Brian Elling.
Here.
Jenny Hager.
Here.
Jim Huck. Kelly Johnson. Dennis King.
Here.
Larry Munger.
Here.
Paul Peppel.
Here.
And Stephanie Sapanya.
Here.
All right. Approval of new park members. So for the month of March, we've had 11 new park members. The data on the breakout for ages and whether they're active or retirement, I do not have that yet. I can circulate that to the board after this. FileMaker was not our friend this week, so I will get that out. But we do have another pretty good month for being March still being off season. So
Okay. I wanted to welcome all the members who are watching the meeting. Hopefully soon we'll be able to have public meetings again. Once the North Shore building opens up and restrictions are lightened a little bit, we should be able to actually meet at our regular time on Friday nights and have a limited number of members in the audience. We added this meeting to our schedule because we had some business that was important to the park. The board is trying to move forward with some items to enhance the assets and protect our membership. And we're committed to communicating with the members. And we appreciate all the emails that you've been sending in. We can continue to provide a clear picture of what you are up. We will ask for your input on important issues, but we will also be trying to use the surveys so that you have a complete picture of what we're talking about. The survey would talk about some specifics on the issue, so you know what you're responding and you're giving us some educated input. And we understand that not everybody can watch the meetings, so that would be a good way for people to understand what we're trying to do. We are also striving to improve communication in other areas. On the official Sandy Pines website, there's a page for the Board of Directors. We're going to be working on that. We're going to be putting some of the answers to the members' questions on there, and we're going to try to add an interactive feature so that frequently asked questions can be put on there, and we'll try to use that page more to our advantage. And we would like you to try to go to the official websites, the official Sandy Pines Facebook group for information about the park. We really appreciate the unofficial member groups that are on Facebook, but we have to remember they're privately monitored. Some of the information is shared directly from official websites, but some of it's personal opinion. And so we can't really rely on all of that. That personal opinion and personal experience is really good for things like, how do I turn my water on? Who do you recommend to help me with my boat? Things like that. But for official communication, we really want you to start going to the official website and the official Facebook page. At times, you know, this rumors and miscommunication really causes people to get upset when there's really not much to be upset about. Also, one other thing, when you do communicate with the board of directors and you have questions, especially for an official meeting, be sure you include Jeff in the email chain. Some of the questions are operational in nature, and that gives him an opportunity to be prepared to answer them, and there may be things he can help you with immediately. Okay, Jeff?
Okay, all right, thank you, Ellen. Yes, so water was turned on this week. Welcome back for those that are here. Driving through the park, it's absolutely great to see golf carts driving around again. I know for some of the snowbirds still in Florida and in Arizona and other warm places, it's about 50 degrees here, but we're waiting for you to come back as well. You'll see some new things around the park. We do have some 50th anniversary banners flying around that look really nice. The staff and the team are excited about our 50th celebration. So we're just, if you reflect back to last year, this time, we're wondering, are we going to open the park? What's our plan? A lot of discussion with the state and the county on how we do it. We do have still regular communication with the health department. So this is definitely a much better start to our 50th anniversary year than it was last year. And we're just excited for all of the members to be here. Because I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen the full volume of our happy place, and I'm excited to see that this year. Additional comments. So again, our 50th anniversary update, we are plugging along on that. The team is making some great strides. They meet bi-weekly. We continue to meet once a month. You'll see in the footprints for April and then again in May. You know, we have some events out there that have some ticket pricing and things of that nature. We have a lot of really neat events. We've worked out trying to take some payments online through our system here and try and do an automated sign up for tickets and things of that nature for the events. So the team continues to work really good at getting us ready for our 50th event. The Cart Bridge project bids were received this week. So over the weekend and into early next week, we're going to be doing a side-by-side comparison on those bids and understanding the cost differences. Not everybody quoted the project, but we do have enough quotes to take a look and see how we manage, have some fiscal responsibility and manage this project appropriately for Sandy Pines. And we did have some engineering recommendations that we need to investigate a little further. So no sourcing or final vendor has been selected for this project. We're still evaluating that, doing side-by-sides on costing, and so stay tuned on that.
Jeff, who are the people who's going to do a review of the bids from the vendors?
That would be myself and Ben Fifelski, and then the bridge designer, and then we have our civil engineer, Feenstra Engineering.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Again, back to our season opening, I did have a meeting with the health department. Right now, our plans in place have been approved by the health department. We're still going back and forth as far as how we classify sandy pines for outdoor gatherings. So depending on how we classify sandy pines and some of the gatherings we have, we will have we'll still have some capacity limits outdoors. Indoors, you'll see capacity limits in our buildings, but we are open for business. The buildings here at administration are open. We are taking walk-ins. Public safety is taking walk-ins as well. Some of the more time constraining items, such as getting cards made at public safety, and setting up an account review here at Sandy Pines administration office. We'll still ask to try and set up appointments, but we are opening all of our buildings, but we do have a capacity constraint. Right now, the state is communicating a 50% capacity for our buildings, and we'll need to continue to adhere to that. You will continue to see mask up signs throughout the park. You'll continue to see the COVID requirements of health, sanitary, wash your hands, continue to social distance. Those are not going away. I know there were some challenges last year. We know the vaccine is out there as well, and people are getting vaccinated. But there's still going to be requirements indoors to continue to mask up. That's in the CCs as well. I know that was a hot point last year with members not wearing masks in the CCs. And again, this is a health department and a state requirement, and we expect the members to continue to be accountable to themselves and hold your other members accountable. We will not be able to have public safety out writing tickets for every person that is not wearing a mask. We will be monitoring that and watching it, but this is ultimately our own responsibility to continue to do the right thing. So you'll still see those items posted. You'll also see posted where our staff interacts with members, sales office, member service desk, public safety, Happy Shack. We did have some unfortunate incidences last year where, we've had some, just be candid, some verbal abuse of staff. And again, that we can't have that. We need to be respectful of each other and, grace and patience and respect. And there will be some postings out there by those areas that if we do have abusive staff, there are some violations for that. So please be cognizant and gracious and respectful when we're working with our staff. The last item I have here, and it's not on the agenda, but it's been a busy week this week. We are making calls on the Spectrum modems. Last year, the new modems, again, based on COVID and all the other requirements of trying to get people at their sites in a timely manner, we were behind with our modems. I think really we started this May, June, and July and getting the modems out. We processed 10 to 12 actually today. We have 4 techs coming out Saturday, and then we're going to process about 50 of them on Saturday, and then we're going to try and get these out every weekend. So we are making calls to set up your appointments. If you're on the waiting list, feel free to give member service a call, and we can try and schedule something for you. But it's always good to have the members walk in smiling and walking out with their modems so they can start enjoying their wireless activities at their sites. And that's all I have. We're blessed to have a somewhat of a regular opening, and I know the board's excited and the staff's excited and waiting for everybody to come back. So
Okay, Jeff, on the 50% capacity, I don't know the capacity of all the buildings. Can we have a sign put on the buildings of what 50% of the capacity would be, so that, especially like the weight room, I know there's a lot of people waiting to get work on the weight room, and
Yep.
I don't know the capacities, and it'd be best if we have an official sign on the door saying 25 people maximum or whatever it is.
Yep. We will have those posted. We're working through those signs right now with Ian and in communications. So
Good.
And that's all I have.
Okay, we're going to hear some information from Stephanie on the Lake Study Committee recommendations.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna retouch on our proposals that we had for, from last year, and also update on lake levels and progress with some of these proposals. So proposal number one, just to retouch on that, was a proposal for buoys placed around the lake, 75 to 100 feet from the shoreline. This is not a new rule. This is an existing rule from Sandy Pines and the DEQ that we are to stay 100 feet from docks, moored boats, and seawalls. I understand that some people are concerned that this is going to shrink down the size of the lake, where you can have your, waked boats. But one of the main concerns that we've heard from members over the last month or so is that lake capacity is an issue, and we know this. We have 1,200 registered boats on the lake. 900 plus of those are motorized boats, so we know that we have an overcapacity issue. So by keeping boats off of shorelines, we're going to help with erosion, dock damage, boat damage, seawall damage. The further off the boat is, the longer it gives for the wave to get to the shoreline. And so that is still in the works, where we still don't have a price for that, and it still needs to be decided on by the court. Moving on, proposal number two was erosion control. We kind of shifted that from the chapel area and the point just past the ice cream shop to the dam. The dam, it was highlighted, needed some riparian work for some erosion that was happening there, and the dam obviously takes priority because without the dam, we don't have a lake. So bids are being drafted, and we're working on finding a company to quote us for that work. And we're hoping that if we go forward with this, which we will have to eventually, that this riparian is known to increase your fish habitat. It's gonna shore up the shoreline over there, stabilize the shoreline over there. So it will be a good improvement for our lake. And there's a video you can watch from the September board meeting that talks about proper shoreline, which is a great resource for everybody on the water here. The next proposal was a proposal to add 2 more wells to Lake Monterey, one in phase 3 and one in Sailboat Cove. These wells would help with our water levels right now. I did talk to Ben, who's the maintenance manager. We've heard a lot of complaints about the lake level. It does appear to be low this year. However, Ben did say that the lake level is normal. We have run high in the last 4 to 5 years, like surrounding lakes in Michigan have. And that coupled with minimal rain, not very much snow, we're just kind of looking at a lower lake level. The other thing that the other little tidbit of information Ben had for me was that we do have all 4 wells running right now. The well by the North Shore building has been offline though due to construction. So that just started this past Tuesday. It broke Tuesday, Ben worked really hard and got all of the parts in, and it was back up and running Wednesday, and he said that it's flowing very nicely, getting lots of water into the lake. The Chapel well pump was also down for the month of February. And it took a little while to get parts in for that. It took a little longer than it did for the well by the North Shore building. So there was about a month disruption in water flow into the lake then. But currently we are running full capacity on all of our wells. And just another note is that 2 of the wells only have 30 horsepower pumps on them because the well can't handle anything bigger than that. They have tried to put a bigger pump in, but it has not worked out. It dries up the well. So all of that to say, 2 additional pumps would be really nice just to kind of add a little more water to the lake, add fresh oxygenated water, especially in those areas where water seems to be a little bit more stagnant in the lake. Those pumps come at roughly $45,000 a piece. So we're looking at probably $100,000 by the time we're all said and done with 2 more wells. The other proposal, the proposal 4 that we had was a proposal for a new boat packet for all members that have a boat stake or have a boat registered to the lake. This will be put off until the new IT update happens. So there's some software updates happening in the office here, and it will just be a lot easier to do it all when the IT update happens, and it will be computerized and much more user-friendly. Proposal number 5 was proposal for PSO presence on the lake during the holidays and during busy hours, Saturday and Sunday. This is done. This is happening. So this summer you can expect to see a PSO on the water during those busy hours, Saturdays and Sundays for sure, and then on holidays. Just to help enforce some of the rules, speed limit, alcohol, time. It will be great to have them out there enforcing our rules, keeping everyone safe, and keeping our lake safe. Moving on. Proposal 6. Proposal 6 was a proposal to retire double stakes owned by a single member once that membership changes hands. So currently, you can have 2 stakes, 2 boat stakes. One of those boat stakes can be a motorized boat, and one of those boat stakes can be a kayak. When you sell your lot, if you are a 2 stake owner, that other stake that had the kayak goes back into the pool and then can be a motorized boat. We would like to just retire that second stake to help mitigate lake capacity. We want to decrease the amount of motorized boats on the lake. That is the goal with that. And it's not taking anything away from anybody because you cannot sell your membership with 2 stakes. That will be talked about later on, addressed later on. The wording for the rule book has been drafted and hoping for more member input on that. Lake capacity study, the lake committee will look more into a lake capacity study. We're not quite sure prices on that. I think it would probably be pretty expensive, and they might be telling us what we already know. And then another proposal was for stormwater runoff control. This will also be something that the lake committee looks into more this summer, looking at where all of the water from the parking lots go, if we can do something to reroute the water from the parking lots and drains. Other things you can watch for, there'll be new signage at the boat launch. In the May footprints, there's a little excerpt on talking about invasive species and invasive hitchhikers on your boat. There will be signage by the launch that you can read, and you can also read in the footprints. We are continuing with our lake management company, PLM, this summer to spray and treat these weeds. They've done a really great job of trying to focus on areas where milfoil and things have kind of taken over. We're going to continue with communication through the footprints and the website, flyer, and Facebook. You can watch for the lake corner in those. Another thing that we were able to, another proposal we were able to have success with was reducing the speed in the wake part of the lake at night. So after 8:30, it was worded in the rule book that you could go 10 miles per hour or less. This has been changed to no wake, and no wake just means the lowest speed to control your property. And that is all that I have.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, a couple of things that I wanted to touch on with that is that we are still in discussions on the usage of ballast boats and the use of the ballast. We really appreciated everybody's input. We're considering it. We're going to be doing some observations. We will be doing some surveys, and one of the things we're asking for member input on in a survey will be your ideas on how to control lake capacity. We saw a lot of emails where people said there's too many boats on the lake, there's too many fast boats on the lake. We would like some suggestions on how to control that and what to do. So that will be coming out. The next thing on the agenda is the alcohol proposal, and that's another item that we are, again, we appreciated your input on, and we're considering that. We are still working on the wording and how that could possibly take place, and we should have something a motion to present and vote on at the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Ellen. New business. So real quick on the North Shore building, we have elevator approved and signed off. We were supposed to take occupancy of that at the end of March, and that was delayed due to some elevator scheduling. So that's approved, signed off. We have furniture being delivered and installed into that building the 19th, 20th, and 21st. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. And we have also, the board has also designated and provided consent to the chapel to use the North Shore building as an alternative worship area for storms and weather permitted and other activities such as Vacation Bible School and things of that nature, where they may not be able to do that at the chapel area. So excited to open that up and have the members walk through that. It's a beautiful building, and can't wait for you guys to see that. New business. Ellen, anything else on the alcohol proposal motion?
No, we'll have something to present at the next meeting. We're still working through it, and we'll have something at the next meeting. But, again, still, if you have an opinion on it, it has to do with specific locations where a caterer would have a license. It's not just where people are just going to be able to drink anywhere in the park or drink in park buildings. It's going to be a very specific and limited circumstance.
Okay.
So the next, we wanted to talk a little bit about this language that regarding the boat stakes, as Stephanie discussed. This was discussed by the Lake Committee, and the board has discussed it a little bit. And we're going to be putting out a survey on this so that people have correct information before they give their input. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read, there's two parts to this proposal. I'm going to read the old language and the new language in both sections so that you have an idea what we're talking about. The first proposal has to do with the actual boat stakes themselves. And the second part of the proposal is relevant to installation of docks, because what we're proposing would have a direct impact on where docks could be located, the ability to place a dock. Okay, in Section 8 of Watercraft Regulations, subsection A, boat ownership states, if a member had 2 motorized watercraft as of May 17th, 1996, the member is permitted to keep both. However, when a member sells his or her watercraft, they will only be permitted to have 1 motorized watercraft in the park. Their other watercraft must be non-motorized. All new members after February 1st, 2005 may only have 1 boat with water registration and 1 boat stay. Paddle boards are not considered to be a boat, no stickers required. Watercraft rules and regulations. 20, boat parking. Item K, placement of docks in front of lakefront sites require a permit for the placement of the dock. Docks must have 2 watercraft assigned and registered with member service. See permit section for dock construction guidelines. Item N, boat stakes are transferable to the new membership at the time of closing. Okay, what we're talking about then is to make changes to Section 8 watercraft regulations. The new language would read, a boat ownership states, if a member had 2 motorized watercrafts as of May 17th, 1996, the member is permitted to keep both. However, when a member sells his or her watercraft, they will only be permitted to have 1 motorized watercraft in the park. Their other watercraft must be non-motorized. A, all new members as of February 1st, 2005 may only have 1 boat with water registration and 1 boat stake. B, when a member with 2 stakes sells their membership, 1 stake is transferable and 1 stake will be retired to mitigate lake capacity. That's the key language. Paddleboards are not considered to be a boat, no sticker required. Watercraft rules and regulations, boat parking, placement of docks in front of lakefront sites will require a permit for the placement of the dock. Watercraft must be registered with member service. See permit section for dock construction guidelines. Item N, boat stakes are transferable to the new membership at the time of closing. That is the first part of this proposal. The second part of the proposal is relevant to the permits. Section 3, items requiring permits, subsection, item I, boat docks. 4, docks may be only placed at stakes which are 40 feet apart. 2 boats must be registered to that stake before a permit will be issued. Whereas the Board of Directors for the Health, Safety, and Welfare of Sandy Pines believes it is in the best interest of Sandy Pines to amend and clarify the rules and regulations relating to membership criteria at Sandy Pines. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails does approve the following amendments and additions to the rules and regulations relating to Section 3, items requiring permits, subsection I. Boat docks and subsection I, currently, there should be one, located on page 40 of the Sandy Pines Handbook. This is the key part of it. Applicable Section 3, items requiring permits, subsection 1, boat docks. Item 4, docks may only be placed at the stakes which are 40 feet apart. Dock permits will be issued upon park inspector approval. So as it is now, if there is a site that has 2 boat stakes, they had them before 1996, they can, when they sell, one of those boat stakes will be retired. You still will be allowed to have a dock. You will just have 1 motorized boat assigned to that dock. Okay.
Ellen,
Yes.
the main thing I see of these 2 is that right now you have to have 2 boats with water registration per boat stake. Now you only need 1 of those boat stakes on a 2 boat stake to be registered. So if no one has a boat and your other half of your stake, you still can put a dock in now without a second boat being registered to that stake.
As long as it's 40 foot apart.
As long as it's 40 foot apart.
Yes, yes. On the 40 footers, there's a left and a right.
Yeah.
If you have your boat on the left side and someone else has a right and leaves and don't put a boat on there, you can apply for a permit to put a dock in.
That's the way it reads.
You do not need two boats registered to a 40-foot boat stake to put a dock in.
Exactly. That's how it reads. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because when we retire one officially at the time of sale, there can be no registered boat on that other side. So we needed the language to correspond to that key
Yes.
change. That one's retired, that owner can still put a dock in, even though there's a retired lot there.
Yes, that's good.
Thanks, Larry.
Yep.
Jeff, do you want to go through the member comments and write-in questions?
Yes, do have a few of them here. So this one, again, thank you for, we did receive a bunch of writing comments from to the board of directors as well as into myself here. I will try to get to as many as I can here. There are some redundancies. Again, the best spot for this communication will be going forward on that landing page out on the website under the board of directors page. So this one is a question in regarding, I'll read some comments and then the question. While we support fixing and improving the lake, and we know that it's our #1 asset, I am wondering how you plan to equitably charge members for this improvement. The lake is arguably the biggest asset, best amenity Sandy Pines has. Everyone has a vested interest in taking care of this. I have a lot of thoughts on this, but I will like to listen to see what equitable and fair responses you come up with in order to cover the cost for any lake improvement. Secondly, in regards to the amenities that we talked about last month, I believe a question was a write-in for phase 3, tennis ball courts, pickleball courts, some additional amenities in phase 3. I am all for amenities, and the phase 3 tennis and pickleball courts additions are good ideas, but we seriously need a pool. So I think this was a common theme throughout some of the responses is an additional pool based on the capacity of our other pools. We have talked about that as a board and leadership of the Sandy Pines here. If you remember, we did have a pool committee that we did kick off. That was pre-COVID and a little crazy, but COVID sidetracked a lot of our stuff last year. We have talked as a board to get that committee back. I do not have the history on the pools, but I know there was a vote for pools, whether it was an indoor pool, that one did not get voted for. And so we came back with the pool committee to pull some additional input and interest from the members. What kind of pool, where do we want it? And we're dusting that off, and you'll see some activity on that this season. In regards to the fair and equitably charge for members, again, if you remember back at the March board meeting, the board did approve the authorization for the operational group to make suggestions through the budgeting committee for some ideas on how to pay for some of these items that Stephanie has highlighted from the Lake Study Committee. So that budgeting process starts internally with the administration this month, and then we'll present our first draft to the board of directors where we do have this highlighted as an area that we have to come up with some ideas on how we're going to pay for this. And that will be presented to the board in May, be presented to the finance committee, and then the board in May. So thank you for that question. Comments on alcohol in the park at possible wedding receptions and a beer tent. We are totally against this for the following reasons. On page 16 of the handbook, Members are responsible for any damages, injuries, violations, or fines that a guest may incur. On page 19, item 1E lists penalties that may occur if a person is found to be intoxicated while driving a vehicle in the park. These are very serious penalties. Members will own the responsibility, even though, according to, the comments here, even though we have a third party, the plan would be to have a third party caterer have the liability insurance and serve the members in a limited capacity. Why do we need a beer tent? We already have rules for everybody to partake in beverages. Let's leave it consumed at their own membership site. We move outside of that, that's a violation. And would this be a rule change? So yes, this would be a rule change. We're, as Ellen stated, we're taking everybody's input on what do we find. Quite honestly, with this particular topic, it's been about 50% are for it and 50% are not for it. So that's why we need your input from as members. So again, thank you for that write-in comment. Another one regarding alcohol at the North Shore building. Our park currently has a rule of no alcohol off your lot, and we believe the rule should stay the same. Having events that allow alcohol and having people driving after drinking puts all of us at risk. As a member, events like this will limit our safety in our park, along with the time we were able to enjoy Sandy Pines. How do we monitor that? So again, the thought process is going to be, we would have a third party provide the service. They would have the liability insurance. We are also investigating this with our insurance company. Do we have a hold harmless claim for people as well at these events, to hold Sandy Pines harmless on any of these events? Those are some of the things that we're investigating from a liability standpoint as well. Ballast boats are causing damage to the lake and the property of the lake, and will we be able to not allow them on the lake? Again, I think you've heard one of the recommendations from a lake study committee that those are some of the things that we are evaluating, and we'll seek some additional input from the members. So thank you for that. Another comment on alcohol. Same as what I think you've heard from the last couple. We oppose changing the current position on alcohol. We believe that changing the position is not in the best long-term interest for Sandy Pines. We take that position based on the following. Lakes, boating, and a large underage population has the high potential for problems when mixed with alcohol. We believe that the increased availability of substances linked to intoxication only increases the probability of misuse at best and addiction at worst. Expanding alcohol usage creates more problems as our units are physically located close to each other. In addition, excessive drinking tends to create noisier nighttime environments. How do we plan to monitor this and police this? So we respect everyone's right to responsibly consume their beverage of choice. We believe these opportunities currently exist under the current rules. We believe expanding those rights has a high probability of making Sandy Pines something less than what it is currently today. So coming out of that one, how will we monitor and police that? There's been many talks on, some of these concerns have been highlighted by the board as well. We do a good job of talking about the pros and cons of each item and working through those. There's options for volunteers at public safety, and then have Keith and his team staff accordingly for a special event. And if we have a special event, we've also talked about, potentially a third-party security firm to monitor that event, make certain that there's no public intoxication. So there are some things that we're looking at to make certain that the park is safe if this goes forward on any kind of these events. So we are looking at all kinds of proposals on how we continue to make our members safe and secure in the park. I've seen, here's another write-up, switching gears off of the hot topic of alcohol. Contractors list. Does everybody doing business within the park need a contractors list? I see several advertisements on Facebook where people are soliciting business, members are hiring these people, but we as contractors don't see that they are abiding by the same rules. So that's an excellent point. We have seen that as well. Jeff Hopkins, our park inspector, is looking into this. He is coming up with some recommendations. If you are doing business in the park, you do need to be on the contractors list. Jeff can walk individuals through that, and there's enough business in this park. It's a $200 contractor fee. Your payback on that $200 based on all the work that's done in this park is almost instantaneously with your first job. So we do have people following the rules that are on the contractors list. We do see some people not following the rules, and we will be reaching out to them to make certain that they are following the rules. Another thing that Jeff is looking at doing this season, which you'll see as members out on a survey as well, is rate your contractors. We'll have our contractor list out here. Have you done work with, contractor A, B, and C? Would you give them a 5-star? Would you give them a 1-star? And then the plan would be provide that information back to the contractors, and/or seriously have a sit-down conversation with them and say, you've consistently gotten a 1-star. We're not going to renew your contractor license. We've had more issues than we have positive feedback. So that's something that we're looking at as well. So Jeff's taken a different approach to the contractors, but you do need a license to do business here within the park. Thank you for that question. I'm asking, so this is a green space area. I'm asking if there is a rule that golf carts are prohibited in the green areas. Yes, there is a rule that prohibits them in the green areas. Section 10, subsection B, page 22. This individual, I want to say in phase 5, has seen green area with tracks, basically. So it's been pretty quiet for 25 years, according to this individual. And now all of a sudden, over the last 3 to 5 years, there's been a high level of people cutting through the green space, and now it's basically a 2-track. We do provide exceptions to some of the green space traffic, as you've seen during, it was my first Christmas at Sandy Pines last year. And, when you drove through some of the lights, we did set up some lights on the green space to get the traffic off the main road. So there are some exceptions to that rule, but in general, driving vehicles, golf carts, your cars, things of that nature in the green space is prohibited. And thank you. We do have this one, and we'll take a look at this one to make certain that this one is nipped in the bud at the beginning of the season.
I'd like to add something to that as a member. Across from us in phase 6, where there's that big hill towards 26th Avenue, carts up and down and up and down. And in fact, one time somebody came down and hit our pickup truck. That's another bad area just to highlight.
Phase 6.
Phase 6, yeah, across the street.
Okay.
I'm sure you've seen it, Larry.
Yeah. My complaint is when I see them drive through the lake.
All right, we'll add that one to the list as well. Phase 5 and phase 6. Thank you, Jenny. Let's see here. Two more. This one is directed at background checks. I have two comments here, two questions. We all want our children to be safe and happy at our happy place. For that reason, I recommend that we change our policy that both members and associate members be required to pass a background check. Is this a needed rule change, or is this something that could be done, and can we look at that? So we will add that to our rules committee. I would say recommendation. That would be something that I think the rules committee could take a look at. Currently, right now, you're right, members are the only ones. Members, contractors, seasonals, they all are going through the background check. Associates and guests are not at the moment. So that's a good question that we'll investigate with the rules committee. Take a look at the pros and cons of that one. And then question number 2 from this member is there somewhere to park your boat at the dairy dip? For the safety of swimmers in the area, that should be designated tie-up spots for boats coming into shore to visit the dairy dip. I'm not a boater. I've been told there is, but I'm told it's a pretty tight squeeze to try and get in between the swimming area and the other boat stakes and docks over by the dairy dip. I'm told that there is, I believe, 1 or 2 areas where you can tie up, come off your boat, go to the dairy dip. Feedback that I got from PSO is the intent for that is tie up, go to the dairy dip, get your cone, get your ice cream food, put it on your boat, and then, go back out into the lake, not tie those 2 spots up for a couple hours while you're at the dairy dip. But I'm being told there are 2 spots, so open that
Maybe we
up.
could do some marking, maybe some signs or
Yep.
something.
Okay, so great idea.
Yeah, because they have the new equipment they have for making signs, they could have a cute little ice cream
Yeah.
cone.
Yeah.
Boat parking, ice cream.
Great
Sounds
ideas.
good.
With suggested time limits.
Yes,
Right.
There we go.
15-minute time limit
To go
Yeah, there
parking
you go.
only.
to go, yes.
Have a meter
They
maid.
could do it
Right.
curbside for the dairy.
Yeah.
Ooh, there you go.
Or
Good tips,
roadside.
too.
They do that in some places. That would be kind of cool.
This last one is back to water levels that I believe Stephanie has already addressed. One thing that I would like to address with this, because I believe this is a new member, basically asking, water levels seem low from last year. They are, Stephanie's addressed that with the pumps and, lack of rain and snow so far this year. But there was an education for me working with Steve DeRaymond and looking at our dam. Our dam plan is what we call it. The emergency plan and the inspection of our dam here at Sandy Pines. When I went through that plan, and again, me being new here, last year that water was almost at the very top of the spillway. That's above normal. When you look at the plan, and you look at the expectation of where the water level should be, it should be about the normal water level for the lake, as it was explained to me, is about halfway up that spillway. So last year, I think in the year before that, people got accommodated to, hey, that's all the way at the top of the spillway, and now it's lower. It's what's going on with the lake. We do have pump issues like we talked about. They are turned on, they are running. We are pumping water in there. But over the last, I would say, a couple of years, the water has been at a higher level than it's normal.
And there were people who had problems because the water was so high the
Right.
last couple of years. So some people's problems have actually been alleviated by naturally,
Right.
which it does, just with any lake in the state of Michigan and Lake Michigan, the Great Lakes, they're going to vary depending on the amount of precipitation.
Ebb and flow.
Right. That's all I have for write-ins. Any additional ones from the board that I may have missed?
I think you hit on all of the topics.
Okay,
But we
I got a question though, Jeff.
sure.
With the North Shore building opening up and maybe having weddings there and chapel services, are we going to put a larger parking lot to handle all the parking that will be accumulated during these events?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Larry. We need to review that with Ben and our construction crew that's out there now. We have our bi-weekly, I think, is next Thursday. So when we go take a walk and see how the furniture was looked at, and we go through our walkthrough, I know we've actually added some additional parking space.
There is more parking.
Already. It just hasn't been finalized, I think, and completed.
Yeah.
But we can add that to our list when we go through the walkthrough. Yes, great question. Ginny, did you have one as well?
I was just wondering if we were going to approve the minutes from last month.
Yeah, that wasn't on the agenda.
I didn't have it on the agenda. I think we can save it till May.
I got a change on the minutes if you want it.
Okay.
Page 3, under new business, the alcohol proposals. Currently, since the bylaws state is on the site, alcohol is not mentioned in the bylaws. That should be in the rules.
Okay.
Okay.
Alcohol proposal for special events is under there, the second line down. Alcohol is not mentioned in the bylaws. That'll be a rules change.
All right. I will work with Kimberly on that. And now I know Kimberly had asked me on that one, Larry, and again, I think when we were reviewing with outside legal, they were recommending that, or stating that it was in the bylaws, but I'll go back and I'll review that one.
You can search alcohol. If you bring up the rules, you can search alcohol, and the only place it comes up is the rules. It's not in the bylaws at all, but if you're going to do a bylaw, are we going to discuss what kind of bylaw change would be to allow alcohol on the membership sites or off the membership?
That's why we're waiting.
Yeah.
That's why we're continuing to work on this. We still have time next month to address this. So we continue to work on that since you have brought that up, Larry. So we're not ready to vote on anything because of that.
I mean, yes, I understand. I just wanted, if we're going to do a bylaw, it takes more discretion to look at that than a simple rule change.
Correct.
Agreed.
Correct.
Yep.
We'll just keep discussing it.
Yep, agreed. And again, if we need to, if the legal opinion comes back that it is a bylaw change that's needed for this, that's why May is an important time frame, because we got to get it out there for a vote.
Right.
So
we're continuing to look at that, Larry, after you brought that up.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
One thing I did want to bring up to everyone is again, I'm going to put a plug in for people to take time and volunteer. There's opportunities with some of our 50th events. Almost every committee needs people. We need your input. We want your input. We have a lot of new members. We would love to have some of the new members on committees. If you want to be on a committee, go to the official website, and under the members section, if you scroll down, it says advisory committees. It lists them. There's an application on that page. You can complete that and email that in to Kathy Brott, or you send it to me, send it to the board of directors, and we'd love to have you join us for committees. Lots of opportunities there.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Thank you, Ellen. Okay.
I think we're set.
I think
Okay, I will entertain a motion to
I make a
adjourn the
motion
meeting.
to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.